What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hoda Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got my co-host, Jay Bob, on the line with me today. What's going on, bro?
Nothing much, man. Look forward to chopping up as always here. SD can't make it due to father duties, but look forward to having him back on the next episode here. But want to quickly remind you, you can catch us on TikTok as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Hodas and Podcast. And for those of you interested in promos or shout outs, shoot us a DM on IG at Hodas Podcast, as well as email us at hodashusbandpodcast@gmail.com. All right, Chief.
I'd like to start off by giving a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind everybody to continue supporting the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. We appreciate anything you give. And I also like to remind everybody that you can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on thecore94.com. Today's episode is titled They Lied to Us. And we're going to be having a kind of a candid conversation about how boys were misled about what it took to actually get attention and romance from women, and how a lot of the things that we think, make us a gentleman are actually things that turn women off. So this should be a real interesting conversation. But you know how we do around here, man. We like to just start off by discussing stuff that we've seen trending on our timelines. So we got a couple interesting videos to start with. This first video is a clip that I saw from the Ask a Brother podcast. And this was a breakdown by my man, Ugly Money Nish, on girl math. I had never heard it broken down like this before. Let's take a look.
Girl math is when women use their emotions to justify their lack of logic. A woman can throw emotions. If a woman is wrong about something, she can throw emotions in it and make her right. If a woman made a mistake, she can throw emotions in it and wash the mistake away. Women use their emotions. How I felt. You made me feel this way. So this justifies what I did because I'm emotional. And that's where the girl math comes into play, is the fact that it doesn't make any logical sense, but the women comes with this the emotional life raft, emotions. When I was in the military, they used to have these things called stress cards. So anytime you get stressed or whatever, the drill sergeant's going too crazy on you, you pull out the stress card and they got to give you 10, 15 minutes, right? Emotions are a woman's stress card or whatever. Oh, I'm facing so much accountability. Emotions. Make me feel some type of way. Emotions. You dig what I'm saying? So that's where the girl math comes into play, because we all know that accountability for most women is the kryptonite.
Now, I think he did a great job with his breakdown on the definition and with the examples that he provided, because I think that, a very large percentage of men can relate and have experienced exactly what he's talking about, especially men that in my space that discuss relationships and all these type of things on social media. This is one of the reasons that it's so difficult to hold women accountable for their behavior when their thinking choices are the direct cause of problems in a relationship or the demise of a relationship. And why it's so difficult in real time for guys to actually go through the whole process of an argument with a woman, because her emotions and her responses to his tone and his voice and him getting loud, all these things become points of contention that distract from the point at hand. And it's almost impossible for a guy to really engage in a conflict with a woman without having to address some of those things, without having her miscategorize what he actually said or ignore what actually happened and describe it as how she felt about what happened. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, so these are the kind of things that, step your skill level up as far as engaging with women, because that's what you're going to be up against. You're going to say something. So basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's going to hit you with something that you didn't even say. And when you finally get a chance to talk, you got to address all that before you can address the real conversation. So girl math is a big problem.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because there's no, like I said, there's no logic behind it. It's a woman's emotions. And I think, honestly, women by nature are emotional. right? I think sometimes, you know, logic is something that I guess it's got to be taught to women, in my opinion here. You know, because women base things on how they feel, not necessarily logic or reasoning behind it.
Yeah, it is. It is one of the major differences between the sexes that you can observe over time. And as guys, we have to deal with it. We have to learn. You know, once you learn and you observe it, that they make choices off their feelings and all those things. The smart guys learn to use that to their advantage. That's why the F boys and all these guys can lie to women and deceive them and get the results that they want because they understand that, you know,
Yeah,
morality out the window, or you know,
exactly.
you
Just
know,
like no different.
the end justifies the means for you
Yeah,
know from their
exactly.
perspective.
Yeah, no
But
different, no different from a con man or anything. Yeah,
yeah,
they understand the psychology behind it.
right, you know, and then especially on social media, you know, it magnifies itself and kind of compounds itself because once a girl, even when there's a video or something that shows a clear situation where a woman is wrong, a woman can come with well, maybe he made her cheat, or maybe he did
Right.
this, and then other women are going to attach to that and reply to that, and that'll become like the most popular comment in the comment section, just because it aligns with the woman's not wrong. So girl math, you know, even in public forums, it is something that other women easily attach onto and treat as truth, you know, in most cases, even without evidence to support it.
I think, you know, and I've said this before in previous episodes. I think it's also a societal issue of it too. You think about the difference between, you know, men growing up and women growing up. Like, as a boy going to a man, like, we're held accountable. There's really no way around it, right? A woman, not so much, right? And women understand that, you know, society will give them deferential treatment. There's such thing as women privilege, pretty privilege. You know, hey, she can get into the club, skip the line, get into the club for free. Even maybe you can get the VIP section and not have to pay a dime out of her pocket here, right? Whereas men, nobody's, you know, gonna let us in for free. You know, neither one of us are celebrities. Nobody's giving us a free section here.
Yeah, the path to adulthood for men and women is drastically different, especially in regards to guys, you know, having to get it out the mud. You know, it's interesting because I have these kind of conversations with my daughter now, and I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to get her to understand how good she got it, but it's hard for her to see because it's all she knows. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
always had an iPhone. You always had the coolest stuff. You always had new Nikes and new shoes, and you know, you got two educated parents that both make six figures. So you're the only child. So
Oh
historically,
man.
that relates to a spoiled child. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
necessarily because we just buy her everything, but it's kind of hard to say no when she's asking you for something that's 100 and something bucks and y'all got it. You know what I mean? Like, so plus she's a straight A student and all these type
Yeah.
of things. So she's essentially spoiled, but not necessarily a spoiled brat to where she's having tantrums and all that type of foolishness. But in dating, it's the same thing for a lot of women. The attractive women that was cute in middle school and cute in high school and cute in college and all that, they just go up kind of oblivious to what men actually deal with. And so I think that's kind of where we led to today's topic, to kind of how things are turned upside down to where the things that lead to stability and marriage and families, a lot of women are turned off by those things, and they're actually held against guys in the dating market. And so we have the chaos that we see, and a lot of the dysfunction that happens when we're talking about dating decisions. And I think girl math plays a big part in that. Let's keep things rolling, man. This next video was was something that I really found to be interesting. It was a video of where a guy explaining the current culture that we live in. We have a whole culture, and it's very difficult to tell professional women from the strippers and etc. Let's take a look.
Black women who are not even strippers, they dress like, act like, sound like, talk like, live like strippers. We can't tell the strippers from a nurse nowadays because the nurses got tattoos on their neck. They doing hoe shit. They talking hoe shit. They online popping it like a hat. Go to any nurse that you know and all you gonna see when you go on her page, it ain't gonna be nothing about no medicine, nothing about advanced therapy, nothing about homeopathic therapy, nothing about none of that shit. You go to a nurse page, the first thing you're gonna see on that bitch page is her ass turned towards the goddamn camera.
Man.
We live in a whole culture.
Now, when I first heard this, it made me think about it. And lately, that is kind of what you see. And I thought about the kind of reasoning why. And to me, I always thought, like, even back in college, like the women that used to strip back then to put themselves through college, they're usually nurses. You know, nursing is a very common thing, especially at the HBCU. So many chicks, nursing was their major and all that. And so there's I guess from the female standpoint, it's viewed as like the easy route, maybe for their perspective.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about the work attire. Like a woman that has a fat ass or a nice shape in scrubs is going to be very attractive. And in a lot of cases, you can see their panty line. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see a lot of things that would get the attention of the men and make the women stand out. And in the society that we live in now, where sexuality and sexual attractiveness can be easily monetized, even if you're not OnlyFans in it, or if you're not a woman that's sleeping with, you're not directly into prostitution, you definitely make yourself more popular and more noticeable to the local athletes, the celebrities that, they on social media too. So if you going viral for having on being bad and known for being an attractive nurse, that's enough to attract you somebody that got the bag.
Yeah.
So I totally understand it.
Man, I never thought of that. How nursing is big at HBCUs and some of them, turned to stripping to, in order to pay for nursing school. Never knew that. But I think another thing in today's day and age, I think whole culture is kind of infiltrated everything. Think about it. Social media, you go looking out, they push a chick in a thong or a bikini. I see all the time somebody promoting their OnlyFans page. You look at their profiles, their OnlyFans page on there. There's a link tree with OnlyFans on it. So you have that, and you also think about even the music from female rappers nowadays, right? What are they talking about? Whole culture. So that plays into the mind. That definitely plays in the mind, especially when it's blowing up on TikTok. You hear it on everyone's background. It definitely plays a part. So I guess a lot of women are, I'm not gonna say a lot, but some women are taking to it or being influenced, for lack of a better description here.
Yeah, and recently, the past 5-7 years, you see, especially in like places like Atlanta, Houston, etc., where almost all professions or the BBL is seen in nursing, the female realtors, the female chefs, like a lot of women that post content to be seen. A lot of it is to show off their figure and their attractiveness. The fitness models, all these type of things, like they're avenues to justify showing off how attractive you are, even if it's not yours, because it don't matter what your profession is. If you are an attractive woman with a nice shape, men are going to follow you and click double tap on your content. You know what I mean? And that ultimately realizes them, relates to them getting brand deals and having more inflated numbers, etc. So nursing, it is very difficult to tell, because bottle girls, all these type of women, all these women are doing enhancements to look the same. And they're all doing things that generate sexual attention from men. The more mature the guy is, or the older he is, the more you can kind of differentiate between the two. But if you're a young guy you just became an adult recently and you in your early 20s, BBLs and fake asses is going to be part of the norm for you.
Yeah.
So
even a few years ago too, especially since the pandemic hit, I think that's where OnlyFans really, took off, because everybody was flocking to,
inside.
Like, even working professionals with nurses, doctors, even lawyers. not making this up, $5. Some even quit their jobs and do OnlyFans full time from it.
Yeah, I mean, those opportunities presented themselves based off the
Yeah,
circumstances that people found themselves in, and it's a trade-off. The women that
yeah,
monetize their sexuality, it comes with a cost. How you're perceived, how you're viewed, how that impacts your children, and the popularity and fame that you get from it. It's not all good. Like I can't. Can you? I mean, can you imagine Amber Rose's son? Like the type of stuff that
yeah,
other kids are gonna say to him. You know what I'm saying? Like just
exactly. And
they don't care about that or think about that stuff at the time, but it's real.
it is, and it's funny. It's funny you say that because you hear stories about where kids getting made fun of, teased in school because the other kids in the class found out that his mom was on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I
That's like,
mean,
damn.
even just not necessarily that. Like I know that having an attractive mom these days, if you
Yeah,
have, even if she don't got a BBL, she dressed appropriate or whatnot, but having an attractive mother to where when your mom comes to the school, all the boys notice your mom and are attracted to your mom, that is humiliating and very frustrating for a lot of boys and girls. Like
yeah,
I remember, as a kid when guys would try to holler at your mom and you just be looking like, but now I get it. Like the dude that
okay,
finds your woman sexually attractive ain't got shit, you ain't got nothing to do with the equation. But I can relate, man, I knew whose mama was cute when I was in school, you know what I'm saying? Like looking at attractive women, like, because little boys are always going to be attracted to older women, like Felicia
yeah,
Rashad. Like, man, I had a crush
exactly.
on her since I was 8 or 9, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's a grown ass
Holly
woman.
Berry.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
and I think it's the same way for girls too. They look at adult men even when they're young as attractive because we know that women are attracted to older men. But that the culture that we live in, where like I said, she could secretly be stripping, she could secretly be dancing or doing something on the side. It does blur the lines between the ones that are true professionals. Because like I said, I see these BBLs on attorneys, there
yeah.
I had to put the pastor with the BBL. So
Oh shit.
sexual attraction,
I mean,
increase.
it's like you said, it's running rampant everywhere. Sexual attraction, and I guess we could say, whole culture as he was playing. It's almost everywhere you go here now in this day and age.
Yeah, especially with the behavior that's going out. Like back in the day, man, every woman didn't twerk. Every woman didn't
Nah.
didn't do those type of things. Like so, we're from an older generation where we saw the
I,
transition. Like you actually twerking wasn't the most prominent thing. It was actually dancing on the dance floor, the bumping and
yeah.
grinding, and the proximity, the physicalness, all those type of things were where the attraction and back the sexual chemistry
Yeah.
and all that stuff was built. But you got to approach those things completely different now because those opportunities don't really exist anymore.
I think and I think this is because in this day and age, everything's on camera. Nowadays, everyone has an iPhone or an Android. So all you gotta do is hit record and hit send on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever social media you're on here, and there's a chance that can go viral. And even like you said, and that can be monetized. A lot of times, like you said,
Yeah, it's
sexuality can be monetized on social media.
but see, in my opinion, from somebody that studied media and all that, a lot of the things that they use to the clips that they think and what the recordings are fake. Seven people just sitting there, and then one person starts recording and dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like it provides a false context of what was really happening in a lot of instances. So the people that I mean, I guess it's almost impossible to not form at least a portion of your opinion about something based off what you see. Because you see a party on social media, you like, oh, like one thing that keeps popping up that I'm probably gonna go to is like the R&B night in Houston. and like it looks
Oh yeah,
super lit. You know what I mean? Like
they
so, it's
do.
like, oh yeah, I could rock with an environment like that where everybody's singing the songs and getting turned up or whatnot. So that it might not be that lit at every show, but them showing a lit show like that does generate interest. So I get it how the marketing works, but sexuality and for women is a slippery slope because you don't want to. On one instance, they don't want to be only viewed as sexual from the
Look,
men that they're really interested in. But that's exactly what happens when you monetize your sexuality.
yeah.
So for the most part, you're going to place yourself in a box that you don't want to be in.
Once,
So shout out to the women that are able to maintain the attention,
once
because there are
out there.
several women that I follow that post, that are very attractive women that I ain't never seen in their panties. They ain't never showed
Yeah.
they camel toe. They ain't
Well,
never, what I'm saying? Like they've never done any of these things, but they still get the attention because they're really attractive and they're classy women. So you can choose which lane you choose to go down, and you got to live in
but
it.
it's a if you're gonna sexualize yourself or put yourself in front, once you hit that send button, it's forever. Once you go, it's basically once you choose to go down that path, there's no limit. It's basically you're trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube there. Once you're trying to switch up, I've seen a couple try to do it. And it's just like it just. I guess it just doesn't seem genuine. They tried, and they might genuinely really trying to switch from where they were at before, but unfortunately, a lot of people are going to judge off of that.
Yeah, it's hard to get past. I see former dancers and all that have turned their lives
Yeah,
around that are still, majority of them are still single, you know what I mean? But there's a chance, I
what?
guess you could find some dude that's able to
Yeah,
see past it or only see you for the current state you in. But
yeah,
most people, your history is gonna play a major
it is.
factor into how
Once
they view you long term.
the thing, once it's on the internet, it's on there forever. There's no scrubbing it. If somebody can find it.
True. All right, looks like we up against the clock. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be getting today's topic. They lied to us, where we're talking about how a lot of the things little boys were told and taught about how to attract women growing up is actually things that turn women off and cause guys to get stuck in the friend zone in the modern era. So we're about to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hold Husband podcast. Today's episode is titled They Lied to Us. And we're having a conversation about how most of the things that little boys are taught about women and dating are inaccurate or are things that are being used against them in the modern era. Now, when we talk about historical courting and historical dating, the entire premise was centered around the guy trying to demonstrate one, a romantic interest in a woman, and that he had the means or was on the path to be able to provide for her and a family in the future. So a lot of the fabric of society where the focus was on family and long-term stability and all those type of things, it shaped how men and women interacted and viewed one another. And so the idea that guys are going to just approach women with the hope of marrying them, I think that's gone forever. And that has drastically shaped the way the dating market and the volatility that we see between men and women today.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think I think, romantic comedies, maybe even Disney movies have kind of muddied the waters or gave us a jaded view or perspective of how we view dating and marriage and stuff like this. Because you grow up thinking, okay, maybe this is how it's supposed to be. You're nice to the woman, you court her, and she falls in love, and hey, everyone lives happy ever after. And once you become of age, you get into your late teens, even early 20s, you find out the hard way. It's like, nah, that's not exactly how it works. You got to actually understand the woman. You got to actually have a level of game to you.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Some guys learn sooner than others. I think, but we all have to learn it. There's a drastic difference between how it's portrayed on TV and then on the comedy, the TV shows, how just simply having a crush on a girl or letting her spilling your heart out, pouring your heart out and telling her how much you're interested in her, and that overwhelmingly makes her return the favor. Like, I was very shocked when that did not work for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I had wrote several letters. I did several dating opportunities. I did everything to prove that I was capable of being the perfect boyfriend, only for her to choose a guy that was already smashing somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so that's where around 15, 16, where I started doing my critical thinking. Like, man, I'm really tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm focusing all this energy on trying to convince her to like me, and I'm ignoring chicks that actually like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm so thankful that I had that aha moment at a very early age.
Now resonates when you said it. Remember the movie Hitch with Will Smith? And he was dating a woman. Yeah. He saw she was smashing the car. He's like, "What do I do? What is it?" And that was his moment. We found out, the stuff he was doing, that's not what attracts women. That's not what keeps women around. And obviously switched it up ever since in the movie.
And one of the things now, we have all these podcasts, we have women where they have their own platforms. So a lot of them talk about, he was the perfect guy, he did everything, he paid all the bills, but he was just so boring. It was so, he didn't excite me. And so we've learned and we've adapted over time that being the guy that provides stability, being the guy that provides an environment that's conducive for raising kids or raising a family, most women don't appreciate that until they've been ran through and had lots of bad dating experiences. They don't start appreciating that guy until they're in their 30s, in their 40s, and they're looking for a guy to help her out with her kids. And so it's by then, for most of them, they're no longer as attractive or desired as they once were. And so they greatly diminish their chances of those guys actually choosing them and the additional baggage that they come with. So
that's the flip. We hear it all the time. Like you say, you get on this podcast, hey, he was just born. He did everything right. He did everything for me. Then, like you said, by the time they realized, that they took that for granted, and it's like I said, it's 10, 15 years down the line, it's almost a day late and a dollar short, because even that same guy is, probably moved on and it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna sign up for this now. A kid or two later.
Yeah, again, one of those lessons that I learned in my early 20s from another one of my side dude experience lessons. The girls that would be cheating on their men with me, I would be having candid conversations with them. Like, why are you cheating on a dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? And it will be a lot of the stuff that you saying. He's so boring. I like talking to you more. You more fun to be around, and you more interesting in this and that and that. And in my head, I used to be like, but I don't want you like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be thinking that, but I'm obviously I'm not going to ruin the mood by saying that.
Right.
But when I was, in my college years, and I'm smashing women that are married to 6-figure men. These men they got houses, Mercedes, they got all these things that you want in a guy, and you still smash them in your office. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't understand why they were doing it. But now that I do, I just understood that providing those things does not make you safe. And then, like I said, as you observe more, you interact with more guys, you start to see that a lot of the things that make a man desirable long term or provide to be, show that he's good husband material. If you, as a single man, those are the exact same qualities that'll be used against you. So you have to be able to, I think that's why when me and SD talk about the whole phase and guys that live like that, when all you really trying to do is have fun and smash a chick, you don't care. You, in a weird, unorthodox way, that makes you so much more desirable than the guy that's kissing her ass trying to get her to be in a relationship. And it is what I can't explain it. That I guess that's guy math or girl math again.
Yeah, it's crazy at work. It's a double-edged sword, dude.
I guess I can't imagine what it would be like to be boyfriend and girlfriend in this age, because if y'all are both already have taken care of yourself, you're paying all your bills. You paying 100% of your bills. I'm paying 100% of mine, or I'm paying 100% of mine, and you still depending on your parents or whatever the case may be. Once you get to the point that you're actually living with one another, in my brain, I always thought that was to determine whether or not you were compatible enough to get married. Like I always just assumed that's a progression in the relationship that shows that you're taking steps towards marriage. But with the way that men and women view marriage and divorce these days, that seems like most guys view it as a kind of a finesse to get into basically providing for a woman's lifestyle without any of the long-term benefits that there ain't a whole bunch of benefits that come from marriage for guys. But
now I think men are becoming hip to that. Men have evolved over time. Men have just evolved over time for that, and they're just becoming hip to that. It's like, you know what, I'm not going to sign up for that and just check out of marriage. Hey, I'm better off just sitting here dating, smashing, going on about my business.
I hear that a lot, and I can, my perspective on marriage has always been the only real benefit that it really provides is if the guy wants to have a family. If you're dating a guy who's family oriented, whose goal is to have a family and to have a consistent structure, stability, estate planning, leave a legacy for his kids type mentality, then yes, those type of men still value marriage. But outside of that, if you are dealing with a guy that doesn't want any more kids, or has already amassed a nice amount of wealth or income, the desire or the incentive to get married dwindles drastically. So I think guys like SD that are really adamant about wanting to be married, I think he's about the most enthusiastic as you gonna get about it. And for him, it's an option. You know what I'm saying? It's an option. Yeah. like it's not his life goal. It's not, he ain't focused. He ain't hiring psychics to tell him who's the one and all this type of stuff. Just like for their best option, for the best men in their dating pool, it's going to be a mild option that they would consider if you meet certain criteria. So that makes it very difficult for you to get what you want, ladies. So I would strongly recommend y'all start appreciating the guys that demonstrate they're going to be great husbands and fathers and six-figure earners by the time they're in their 40s. Because if you can secure one of those guys when he's 27 or 28, your life and the lifestyle of your kids is going to, be improved drastically.
Beats being a single mother. I can say that much. I mean, just given how how expensive kids, just given how expensive kids are. I mean, kids are an immovable expense.
Now, I wanted to kind of shift the conversation to chivalry. Back in the day, first dates was a major thing. flowers, chocolates. You're trying to wow her. You're trying to impress her. You're trying to go above and beyond to show her how special she is and all that. And for a lot of people back in the day where they had very limited access to other people, that worked great. The above the top prom proposal, the homecoming
Yeah.
dance invitation, all these type of things, all these grand gestures that used to seal the deal back in the day. Those are things today that if she is not already feeling you, if she does not really like you right now, you're just gonna get clowned over.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of guys, it's the risk versus reward for trying to wow a woman or impress a woman. I don't see it being there, man. I can't see myself creating a sign that says, "Will you go to dance with me?" and doing all this type of stuff just to possibly get curved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh no, you too short, or no, you ain't. You know what I'm saying? No, you like. I don't know if I would do that. I can't really picture myself putting myself out there like that. So
Nah, I couldn't either. I guess extravagant stuff here. Go out, go above and beyond, just for to tell you, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, and chance now that can go viral.
it used to be so interesting. All this knowledge that I have about dating and insight come from like not necessarily bad situations, but just
Right.
friends with benefits, just kicking it with chicks or whatever. And they would always tell me about the dudes that love them, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we talk about it all the time. You went on a date with a dude and you called me to come smash after he dropped you off. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? The dude got a crush on you, so he gave you some free weed and you smoking it with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
it just used to be like these dudes, like they suckers, like they just don't get it. That's what I would be thinking. Like, this dude's a crash dummy. He's giving you money and you buying me Christmas gifts with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could not understand the mentality of these women, but it always ties back to what we talk about: emotions, how they feel about you. That dictates how they treat you in the moment and how the thoughts that they project about you moving forward. Because part of the problem is, well, that I had with my friends with benefit situations is they could never just keep it right there. They would always be
They
talking
wanted something
about
more.
future. They would always start talking future tense. And I'm
Oh.
like, man, why are you talking to me about having kids and how our kids' hair is gonna be and how this, like, I couldn't understand that part of it. Like, man, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was part of the issue that I had. Like, man, let's just keep it at friends with benefits, and as long as we still sexually attracted to each other, I'm cool with that. But that was the part of the situation where they ended up always wanting more or expecting it to develop into more. And you get the accusations where you leading them on.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of in a lot of ways the husband material in me is going to show no matter who I'm kicking it with. I'm gonna make sure we good. The finances, I'm gonna be able to pay for stuff and do different things. So the way that I move, I'm not doing it to show you that I'm trying to be your husband. I just move like this, and so I don't know how a lot of them interpreted that, but a lot of it got interpreted as I wanted to be their man, and that I never said anything that would lead you to believe that.
Wow.
I wanted to ask you a question, man. When we talking about women, it seems like they enjoy curving men or dissing men or complaining about things about men do, etc. How much do you think women's kind of desire to outshine or shit on other women, how much do you think that is a result of how they view the things that men do for them or the effort men put in so negatively?
I think it plays a huge factor. So I think, when it comes to men, I think women want a man that's desired by other women. So feel like she's got the guy that everyone want, or other women, even just women within our friends who desire. She feel to her that's a flex. Oh, he did X, Y, and Z. He took me to this nice restaurant, or he bought me this nice gift. Even with the marriage, right? Even with a wedding ring, just think about it. They're quick to post that online. To them, they want to be able to flex that to family, friends, and whomever else, or some random stranger over the internet here.
Yeah, the ring and the camera
Yeah,
is definitely a common thing. Yeah, the reason I say it is because I think subconsciously or consciously that they view almost everything involving a man based off of what would social media think. What would it look
yeah,
like if I posted him? Is he cute enough? Is he fly enough to are they gonna be able to clown his outfit or his car or his house or is this and that? And it's like it's like guys are being held up to this standard where if you don't align with her timeline, you're not good enough. And to me, I think that contributes to why a lot of women one view men as so disposable and beneath them, but a large part is why they don't appreciate the things that are done on their behalf or the effort that is given. That sense of entitlement, I believe, comes from what they see other people receiving on their timelines.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's like a unwritten competition between one another, especially as it relates to social media here.
Well, I don't know. I guess maybe because I'm older, but I don't feel that. When I see the over the top, the whole house full of roses and all this stuff, I'm never feeling like, oh man, I gotta outshine them, old boy. I
Yeah,
gotta go do more than it. I never feel that way or never really care about other people.
yeah,
But again, I think we're part of that generation that precedes social media. So we understand what things were like or what actually matters on a day-to-day basis. Uh, like I said, social media, even though I'm popular on social media and I engage with it every day,
yeah.
I don't post majority of my life on social media. Like I don't even think to record most things that I'm doing in my life. Like I don't be at the club thinking like, oh, I gotta show these. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if unless somebody really come up to me around me doing that, like, oh shit, let me put something on my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, but majority of the time I don't think to even do that. But I don't ride around with earphones in my ears either. Like so it's
Right.
a lot of things that I'm just old school about that I don't need my camera out to be having a good time. When I'm be having a good time, that's the last thing I'm thinking about, honestly. And so I guess I feel really good about being from that era because
Yeah.
I can't
I guess
imagine doing everything for social media.
the average 25-year-old, even maybe a couple of years old, like I said, they grew up right smack dab in the middle associated. They grew up. You speak for you speak. She's always had an iPhone or an iPad. Some sort of mobile device, right? We didn't. Think about the first iPhone came out almost 20 years ago. Almost 20 years removed from the first iPhone. So we didn't really. By the time we got an iPhone, we were already well into our adult years. By the time the iPhone came out, I'm well in my 20s already. I got my first
Right,
iPhone. I think I was 25 or 26 here.
right.
iPhone. I think I was 25 or 26 here. So, but these
Yeah,
kids have 8, 9 years old. They have an iPhone, texting. They have group chats amongst their friends.
FaceTime.
Yep. They have social medias.
So I can understand that how our desire to go spend a night over our cousins or have a sleepover with our
Yep.
homies and all that. We couldn't see each other over Christmas break or this and that if you didn't physically actually see the person. So I can say we couldn't play online video games. We couldn't do a lot of the things that required us to actually go over your cousin's house and be sitting there from 4 to 10 o'clock playing Tecmo Bowl or playing, some type of game. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, those are the kind of memories that come to mind when I think about the most fun I had or when I was around most people. But you're right, it did involve physically going to someone else's house. And dating was the same way. Actually, either getting a chick to come through or pulling up to another chick's house. Those were always the how else you gonna get things popping? You know what I'm saying? Or,
Don't even instead of staging doubles, they'll ask for their social media page. Like, hey, can I get your Instagram or get your TikTok? Can I get your Instagram or get your TikTok? Like, I've heard.
to me, that's so weird. That's so
yeah,
weird.
I was like, what?
I would feel like if a chick, if all you gonna give me is your Instagram, to me, I would interpret that as you ain't interested in me.
That's how I interpret that too.
But I guess that might not necessarily be the case. This might be somebody that's on social media all the time. I don't know, but that seems. I would feel weird about that. Like, damn,
I would.
I'm supposed to
I
just.
would too. But
but theoretically, I guess a DM conversation you can still exchange phone numbers then.
Yeah.
And I can also understand with the number of people you meet these days, the less people that have your number, it can be actually calling and texting you. I guess, especially for an attractive woman, the more you can filter that out, I can understand it. So I guess the more logic I put behind it, I guess I could understand a woman operating that way. But it was still initially making me be like, well, damn, what the hell you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, so times we live in, man, times have changed.
Yeah. Stress.
All right, man. Looks like we up against the clock. So we about to get up out of here, man. But before we go, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us nice with our background music. I'd like to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast, so our Cash App and our PayPal. Jay, I appreciate you linking up so we can get this episode knocked out. We're looking forward to getting SD back so we can have all three of us again. This has been another episode of the Ho to Husband Podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.